Last week we talked about the lampstand. So I hope you have a good understanding of what lampstand is about now. And although maybe there are about 10 verses that we read last week, but what we cover was a lot more than 10 verses. So today we're going to learn about the tabernacle itself, see what it looks like and how it's structured, how it's designed, what material they use. So we're just going to read first. Make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of a finely twisted linen and blue, purple, and scarlet yarn with cherubim worked into them by the skilled craftsmen. All the curtains are to be the same size, 28 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. Join 5 of the curtains together and do the same with the other 5. Make loops of blue material along the edge of the end of the curtain in one set, and do the same with the other set. And the curtain on the other set. Make 50 loops on one curtain and 50 loops on the end of the curtain of the other set, with the loops opposite each other. Then make 50 gold clasps and use them to fasten the curtain together so that the tabernacle is a unit. Make curtain of goat hair for the tent over the tabernacle, 11 altogether. All 11 curtains are to be the same size, 30 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. Join 5 of the curtains together into one set, and other 6 into another set. Fold the 6th curtain double at the front of the tent. Make 50 loops along the edge of the end curtain in one set, and also along the edge of the end curtain in the other set. Then make 50 bronze clasps and put them in the loops to fasten the tent together as a unit. As for the additional length of the tent curtain, the half curtains that is left over is to hang down at the rear of the tabernacle. The tent curtains will be a cubit longer and on both sides. What is left will hang over the side of the tabernacle as to cover it. Make for the tent a covering of ram skins dyed red, and over that a covering of hides of the sea cows. Make upright frame of acacia wood for the tabernacle. Each frame is to be 10 cubit long and a cubit and a half wide, with 2 projections set parallel to each other. Make all the frame of the tabernacle in this way. Make 20 frames for the south side of the tabernacle, and make 40 silver base to go under them. 2 base for each frame, 1 under each projection. For the other side, north side of the tabernacle, make 20 frames and 40 silver base, 2 under each frame. Make 6 frames for each far end, that is the west end of the tabernacle, and make 2 frames for the corner as at the far end. At these 2 corners, they must be double from the bottom all the way to the top, and fitted into a single ring. Both shall be like that. So there will be 8 frames and 16 silver base, 2 under each frame. Also make crossbar of acacia wood, 5 for the frame on one side of the tabernacle, and 5 for those on the other side, and 5 for the frame on the west and the far end of the tabernacle. The center crossbar is to external from end to end at the middle of the frames. Overlay the frames with gold and make gold rings to hold the crossbar. Also overlay the crossbar with gold. Set up the tabernacle according to the plan shown you on the mountain. Make the curtain of blue, purples, and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen with cherubim worked into it by the skilled craftsmen. Hang it with gold hooks on 4 posts of acacia wood overlaid with gold, and standing 1/4 silver base. Hang the curtain from the clasps, and place the ark of the testimony behind the curtain. The curtain will separate the holy place from the most holy place. Put the atonement cover on the ark of the testimony in the most holy place. Place the table outside of the curtain on the north side of the tabernacle, and put lampstand opposite on it to the south side. For the entrance to the tent, make a curtain of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and finely twisted linen, the work of the embroiderers. Make gold hooks for each curtain, and 5 posts of acacia wood overlaid with gold, and cast a 5 bronze base for them. Okay, now you have kind of have an idea what it looks like, right? Can you kind of imagine what it looks like? Right. Right. Okay. So, after reading this, if I ask you to draw what it looks like, can you draw it? Okay. All right. So, most of the people, when they read this, have no idea what they're reading. It's just clueless of like, huh? What? What is this? It just doesn't make any sense. We're reading it for sure, but we're not sure exactly what we're reading. We cannot visualize in our head what it looks like. It just does. So, this particular part, most of the people, when they start reading Exodus, it is perfectly fine until chapter 24. When they hit chapter 25, where the tabernacle starts, this is where they get like really bored, and they just can't read any further, because what they read, it just doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't register in their head anymore. Like, certainly I'm reading the characters and the words and a phrase, but I don't know what I'm reading. It doesn't make any sense. What is it? What are they trying to explain? But for us, we're going to dissect each individual the phrase and the section, so that we can kind of like at the end of this today's lesson, that you have a full picture of what this is about. So I'm going to go one by one. So I'll try to just kind of like explain to you what they're trying to explain. All right, let's start with the beginning. Make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of finely twisted linen and blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and the cherubim worked into them by the skilled craftsmen. Okay, so let me just kind of show you what it looks like. You see it? Let me know when you see it. Okay. So, first of all, in Tabernacle, there are 4 different colors of materials that are used. One is what? Twisted linen. Linen is what? What color? White color. Blue, purple, and scarlet yarn. Those are the 4 colors that are being used. Okay? Now, white and blue, purple, and scarlet. So just remember those 4 colors. And with cherubim worked into them by the skilled craftsmen. So what it what 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 it is they use the 4 different color material to make the curtain, but they embroidered it with the cherubim. Okay? Verse 2, all the curtain are to be the same size, 28 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. Okay, so let me explain. So we're talking about the covering, which is the top of this tabernacle. All right? So the tabernacle here this is the entrance of the tabernacle. Tabernacle consists of 2 sections. The first section is called the holy place. The first part is called the holy place. And the second part is the holy of a holy place. So you see this, the curtain to curtain, this is the holy place. And behind this, the second curtain, this is the holy of a holy place. Does it make sense? Okay, so when we look at the size of the tabernacle from the entrance of this, the tabernacle, the first curtain, to the second curtain, which is the veil, the distance between these 2 are 20 cubits long. Okay? These are 20 cubits long. And then from here to the wall is 10 cubits long. So altogether, how many cubits? 30 cubits long. Once again, from here, the entrance of the tabernacle to the veil, what is the length? 20 cubits. And then from the veil to the wall, that's 10 cubits. So total, it makes up 30 cubits. Okay? Now, this height of this post here, right, is 10 cubits high. Right? The height is 10 cubits. And then from here to here, which is the it's like width is 10 cubits. So 10 cubits high, 10 cubits width, and 10 cubits long. 30 cubits long altogether. Okay? Are you with me so far? Okay. Now, then let's think about this. From here to here, how many cubits? The bottom to the top, how many cubits? From here, do you see my mouse? From here at the bottom to here, how many cubits? 10 cubits, right? From here to here, how many cubits? That's 10 cubits. And then from here to here, 10 cubits. So total is? The total is 30 cubits. 10, 10, 10. Correct? So from here, this end to the other end is 30 cubits. From here to here is also 30 cubits. Right? So it's 30 cubits long and 30 cubits from this end to the other end. Okay? Now let's go back to what we just read in verse 2. All the curtains are to be the same size, 28 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. What it means is that, I'll actually read the verse 3 as well. Join 5 of the curtains together and do the same with the other 5. Okay, what does that mean? Let's read it again. All the curtains are to be the same size, 28 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. So, let me switch. see my screen? Okay. All right, so go back to the verse 2. 28 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. So this, they're at one piece. There are 4 cubits. Okay? From here to go up, across, and down is 28 in long. And then you make 5 pieces together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? And each of them are 4 cubits. So 4 cubits, there are 5 pieces together. How many cubits total? From here to here. What's the length? Cubits, right? So this is 20 cubits. So go back to our drawing again. From here to here, how many cubits? From here to here, 20 cubits. This is 20 cubits. Okay? So go back to what I showed you before. So there are 4 cubits wide. There are 5 of them are together. That makes up 20 cubits. Correct? So that means the curtain starts from here and ends where? Correct. The curtain, the veil, this is where it ends. Okay? That's what they're talking about. 28 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. And join 5 of the curtains together. So what they mean here is there are 4 cubits wide. Put all 5 together. 4 cubits, 4 cubits, 4 cubits, 4 cubits, 4 cubits. So 5 of them together make up one big piece, which makes up 20 cubits. So this covers from the entrance of the tabernacle to the entrance of the Holy of Holies. So 28 cubit that they're talking about is from here. So remember I showed you here, from here to here, how many cubits? The bottom to top, 10 cubits. From here to here, 10, and then from here to here, 10. So there are 30 cubits, right? So if it is 28 cubits long, if you cover this with 28 cubits long, what happened? If you correct, 2 cubits short, correct? So go back to my diagram again. So this supposed to be not 19 cubits. Okay. So from here to here is 10 cubits, right? This is 10 cubit, right? So if you cover with 28, here's a 9 cubit, 10 cubit, 9 cubit. That makes up 28 cubits. Is that correct? So then you have a 1 cubit left, because you're short of 1 cubit on this end, and you're also short on 1 cubit short on the other end. So it doesn't go all the way down to the bottom. There's 1 cubit short. You follow me? So there are 28. So there's 9 cubit high, 10 cubit long, and 9 cubit high. That makes up 28 covering cubit. So go back to this diagram. So you see this? There's a little shortage here at the bottom. You see that? You see like a purplish color covering here, but a little short here. This is 1 cubit short. So this end is also now covered, so you can see here like brownish color at the bottom. You see that? Right? So this end 1 cubit short, the other end also 1 cubit short. So their covering doesn't cover it all the way, but 1 cubit short on the both ends. So that makes up 28 cubits long. Are you with me so far? So let's read verse 2 and 3 again. All the curtains are to be the same size, 28 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. So 28 cubits long and 4 cubits wide, which is what we just saw, just 4 cubits wide. Join 5 of the curtain together, so we put all the 5 of them together, and do the same with the other 5. So this end is like this, so which covers from this end to this end. It doesn't cover the tabernacle area yet, right? So they're saying do the same exact thing for the other end. So you do from here. Make same exact thing, like the one that I showed you here. Make the same exact things and make another one here. So then how big is it? Oops. So we basically make the same exact copy. Another piece like this. You follow me? So there's one piece like this, and there's another piece like this. So this is what? Total of from here to here, how many cubits? 20 cubits. Okay? So now, go back to this. So from here to here is 20 cubits, right? But from here to here is 10 cubits. Correct? The Holy of Holy Place is 10 cubits. That makes up the total of 30 cubits, right? Now we have from here to here 20 cubits with this, which is perfectly fine. We have no problem. So here's the entrance, and to the Holy of Holy, the entrance of the Holy of Holy Place, 20 cubits long, so that covers the entire the holy place. But now we have a 20 cubits, but from the entrance of the Holy of Holy Place to the end of the wall is only 10 cubits. So then how many cubits left? Well, how are you going to do the coffee shop store if you don't really calculate this? So 10 cubit Yeah, so total is 5 put together, so it's a 20 cubits, right? But now, from the entrance of the Holy of Holy place to the wall is only 10 cubits. So how many cubits left? You have a 10 cubits left, right? So what happens to this 10 cubits? Now go back here. You flip it over, right? You flip it, and then this is how high is this? 10 cubit. So you cover from 10 cubits here, and the other 10 cubit, flip it over against the wall. So then covers 20 cubits, right? 10 cubit from here to here, 10 cubit, and from here to the post is 10 cubits. So when you flip it, it's going to cover all the way down to the bottom. Do you understand? So go back to the diagram again. So I said from here to here is the Holy of Holy place. Then you have a 10 cubits left. So what happened? You flip it so that it lines up with the wall itself on the post, because that is actually 10 cubits, right? So then it's going to go all the way down to the bottom, just like this diagram shows. You see? The wall is covered with this same color, with the purplish color. So this is why it covers the other end. That covers the wall, not the top. Are you with me so far? Bryce, are you with me, or are you lost? Okay. Now, let's continue on. Verse 3, join 5 of the curtain together and do the same with the other 5. Now you understand what that means, right? Now continue on verse 4. Make loops of a blue material along the edge of the end curtain in one set, and do the same with the other with the end curtain in other set. Make 50 loops on one curtain and 50 loops on the end curtain of the other set, with the loops opposite each other. Then make 50 gold clasps and use them to fasten the curtain together so that the tabernacle is a unit. It's like, what? All right, now go back. So what I'm going to do is, now here's the 5 pieces together, right? They put together 5, 4 cubits long, a piece together, correct? Here's a 5. Now, they have to put this together, these 2 pieces together. So what they do is, I'm going to just flip it upside down, and then I'm going to draw it, okay? No, actually, I don't have to. So let's assume here, at the edge of this end, you put blue loop like this. And 50 of them. Like this. There are 50 of them with the blue loops. And then on this end, you do the same thing. 50 of them. Almost at the edge. And then there are 50 of them. Okay? And there's a loop. So one on this side and the other on this side. And then you put this together, get close, and then you put the clasp, which is the hook, between from here to here. And fasten together to make this 2 pieces come together. You follow me? So, if you don't understand, then I have to do different. craft time. Okay, so I made a kind of lousy way, but kind of give you an idea. So assuming this two-piece are the two-piece are those five the curtains together. This is one 5 curtain, and this is the other 5 curtain. All right? You see? Now, when you look at it from here, this is the 5-piece. There's another 5-piece, and you see the white loop, assuming that is the blue loop. So you put it together on one side and the other side, and then that ring is the hook to put it together, like so that these two pieces fastened. You follow me? You see how it is structured? Okay? Now you understand what it's doing? Okay. So that's what they're trying to explain here. Let's read it again. Reading from verse 3 again. Join the 5 of the curtains together and do the same with the other 5. Make loops of a blue material along the edge of the end curtain in one set. You understand what this means now, right? And do the same with the with end curtain in the other set, which is do it the other side. Make 50 loops on one curtain and 50 loops on the end curtain of the other set. So as I was explaining to you before, so there's a 50 loops here. Well, let me share the screen again. So there's 50 loops. Like I only showed you one, but there are like 50 of them. So there are 50 of them are dangling here. On this side, another 50. And then these 50 together, they just tie with the hook. Right? So verse 5, make 50 loops on one curtain and 50 loops on the end curtain of the other set, with the loops opposite each other. Then make 50 gold clasps and use them to fasten the curtain together so that the tabernacle is a unit. Now, does that make sense now? Yes? No? Okay. Okay. Verse 7. Make curtain of goat hair for the tent over the tabernacle. So let's go back here. So the bottom curtain, which is the covering, is made out of a 4-color material. What was the four color being used? White. So white, and then blue, purple, and scarlet. All right, those are 4 colors. So that's the very first covering. Okay? Now the second covering on top of that is use goat hair. So let's read from verse 7 again. Make curtains of goat hair for the tent over the tabernacle, 11 altogether. So before, when we actually made the very first covering, how many pieces were there? How many pieces were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there was a 10 pieces altogether. Correct? Yes? But now they're saying make 11. So there are one more in addition to this. So like this, this, it makes 11 piece now, right? So then we understand there was a 5 pieces, was perfectly fitted from here, the entrance of the tabernacle, to the holy of holy place. That was a 20 cubits, so that was perfect, right? And then the other 20 feet covering from this curtain, the veil, over to the edge, which is the wall, and then flip over to the other side, so that makes a 20 cubits long. So that was perfect. But now asking to make 11 piece, then how many cubits left? 4 cubits. So it's going to stick out, right? Go back here. So now it's we have one piece, which is the 4 cubit is left out here. Okay? So what happened here is exactly the same thing what we did previously, but this side and front, let me just go back here, the front is stick out, not 4 cubits. It sticks out, okay? In the front, the entrance, the 4 cubits are sticking out. But now let's read it again. Verse 8. All 11 curtains are to be the same size, 30 cubits long and 4 cubits wide, which is, we know what it is. Join the 5 of the curtains together into one set and the other 6 into another set. Fold the 6th curtain double at the front of the tent. So what they're doing is the 4 cubits sticks out right here, and then fold it in half. You fold it in half, so how many cubits sticks out now? 2 cubits, because you fold it. You fold it and bring it in, so there are only 2 cubits sticking out. So since it's 2 cubits sticking out, what happened when you actually put it on top of it? It's going to like hanging, right? 2 cubits long and it's hanging, but it's going to be like covering the front, right? That's what they're saying. So verse 10, make 50 loops along the edge of the end curtain in one set and along with the edge of the end curtain in the other set. You understand what this is now? Exactly same thing as what we did here on the very first curtain. We do exactly the same thing. Okay? They make 50 bronze clasps and put them in the loop to fasten the tent together as the unit. So you will do the exactly same thing what we did on the very first cover and do the same thing on the second cover. The difference is, what's the difference? Yeah, so the very first covering was using what kind of clasps? Gold. And the second covering used bronze, right? So the difference between the first covering and the second covering is it's using different type of clasps. The bottom one uses gold the hook, and the second covering uses the bronze hook, right? And verse 12, as for the additional length of the tent curtain, the half curtain that is left over is to hang down at the rear of the tabernacle. The tent curtain will be a cubit longer on both sides. What is left will hang over the side of the tabernacle so as to cover it. What it means is before, here, the very first cover was the total of how long it was?
20 cubits.
No, from here to the other end was 28 cubits.
8 cubits.
So there was a 1 cubit short on both ends, right? But now what they're doing is make it from the here to all the way the other side. So how many cubits?
30 cubits.
Make it 30 cubits so that it entirely covers it. Not like the first one. This one covers from the bottom to bottom. There's no leftover. There's no 1 cubit left. Okay? So this is what verse 10 says. The tent curtain will be a cubit longer on both sides. So 1 cubit longer than the previous one, so that covers entire. So that becomes 30 cubits instead of 28 cubits. Does it make sense? So with that, you read it again. The cover will be a cubit longer on both sides. What is left will hang over the side of the tabernacle as so as to cover it. So it's going to cover the bottom to bottom. Okay. Make for the tent a covering of ram skin dyed red. So the third covering is using ram skins cover with the dyed with red color. So there's a third covering. Okay? Just make the same exact thing like the second one, except it doesn't have this hook. Over that covering of hide of the sea cows. So the last one is a sea cow. So we don't know whether this is a sea cow or dolphin or some kind of like ocean mammal, like similar to dolphin or a sea cow. We don't know exactly what that is. Badgers, he just calls it differently. So, some place will tell you sea cow, some place will tell you dolphin, some place will tell you something else. But it's a ocean mammal similar to like sea cows, or the dolphins, or the badger. They're similar kinds. Okay, so the last covering, which is the outer end of the covering, is very different from anyone inside. Okay? Now, but at least you get the idea, right? Up to here. So we'll continue on. Verse 15. Make upright frame of acacia wood for the tabernacle. Each frame is to be 10 cubit long and 10 cubit and a half wide. Okay, so what it means is, here's the frame. This frame, it's like a post, right? It's like a wall, right? So what they're saying is make upright frame of acacia wood. So use the acacia wood, which is what we talked about, sittim wood, right? For the tabernacle, each frame is to be 10 cubits long. 10 cubits long from here, from the bottom to up. Here is the 10 cubits long. That's what it means. And a cubit and a half wide. So the width of the post is cubit and a half. All right? You with me so far? So when you look at this, it looks like you can see through this post. You can see the covering, right? But that's not true. So let's take a look at what this looks like. You see this now? So if make up like this, then can you see the covering? No, you can't see the covering, right? So you cannot see the covering from inside. So the width is 1.5 cubits width, and the height is 10 cubits. Okay? You with me so far? With two projections set parallel to each other, make all the frame of the tabernacle in this way. Make 20 frame for the south side of the tabernacle. So which is the south side of the tabernacle? All right, let's just look at the directions. The entrance of the tabernacle, which side is this? Right, is that on the north side? Is this side as a north? Is it a south, or is it a east, or the west? What side of this? You don't know? We talked about this like too many times. So, this is the entrance of the tabernacle, right? And this is the curtain, this is the holy place, and this is the holy of a holy place. Is that correct? The entrance is on the east side. Tabernacle, inside the tabernacle, the Ark of Covenant is on the west side. So I mentioned that towards the Lord is always going to the westbound. So the entrance is on the eastbound. If this is east, obviously this is west. So then, what is this side? On this side? This is the south side, and this is the north side. Okay? Now go back again. With two projections set parallel to each other, make all the frame of the tabernacle in this way. Make 20 frames for the south side of the tabernacle. So what do they say? This side. Right? Because this is the east, this is the west. So this is south side, and this is north side. So they're asking to make 20 posts, 1.5 cubits wide, and if you put 20s together, then what? How many cubits is that? No. 1.5 cubit wide, 20. One 1.5 times 20. What is it? Yes, it's 30 cubits. 1.5 cubits wide, and 20 of them together make up 30 cubits. Okay? So then if it is 30 cubits, obviously from this end, which is the entrance of the tabernacle, all the way to the end, that including the holy place and holy of a holy place, that make up the entire 30 cubits. Okay? Now, and make 40 silver base to go under them. So here, each frame, there's a 2 base. Okay? So there's a 20 frames. So how many base? Since there are 20 posts or the frame, how many base? 40 base, because out of each frame there are 2 base. Right? As you can see here, there are 2 base of each frame. So since there's 20 frame, there will be 40 base. Like this. Okay? For the other side, the north side of the tabernacle, make 20 frame and 40 silver base. So he talked about south, and now he's talking about north. 2 under each frame, which is no different than south side, exactly same thing. Make 6 frame for the far end, and that is the west end of the tabernacle. Which end? West end. So each frame is how big? How wide?
Cubit and a half.
Cubit and a half. So between from here to here, how many cubits long? From this wall to this wall, how many cubits? This wall to this wall.
10 cubits.
Exactly, from here to here is 10 cubits. Right? So, if this is the 10 cubits, how many frame can you put from here, this end, to the other end? If the frame is, not if actually, the frame width is 1.5 cubits, how many frame can you use to make up 10 cubits? So let's do this simple math. 10 divided by 1.5. What is the answer? No. What is the 10 cubits divided by 1.5 is 6. Right? So it's 1. If you divide it, it's a 6. So if you put 6 together, then if the 1.5 times a 6, then what is it? 1.6 times a 6. 9. So if it is a 9, how many cubits short? 1 cubit short. So then, let's divide the 1 cubit, split it in half, and then put it on each side. Then how many cubits there gap between the wall? Half cubit, right? So let's go back to the other. From here to here, if you put 1.5 wide frame, put it all together, it's a 9 cubit. So then this end is 1, the half cubit is short, and this side is a half cubit short, correct? But what we didn't talk about was, what about the thickness of this frame? Right, there must be a thickness of this frame, which we didn't talk about. We talked about the height, we talked about width, but we didn't talk about depth of this frame. If depth is a half cubit, then from here to here, that covers perfectly. Right? Because the depth, the thickness of this wood is 0.5 cubits. The thickness here. Does that make sense? So if you're actually standing from here to here, only 6 of them can fit. Since there's a half cubit short, the thickness of this frame covers up half cubit. This side is half cubit, that make up perfect 10 cubits. Does it make sense? So this end is a 6 frame. But let's continue to read. Verse 24. Verse 23, I'm sorry. And make 2 frame for the corner of the far end. At these 2 corners, they must be double from the bottom all the way to the top and fitted into a single ring. Both shall be like that. Okay. Now, let's imagine. So let's go back to this one. No, this one doesn't have that. Let me this one doesn't have it. So let's see if there's another diagram that we can see. As you can see here, like, can you see this diagram? So like, let's count how many of them are here. Obviously this is, because this is the entrance of the tabernacle, right? So this end is, what side is this? This is the east side, and this side is the west side, right? Obviously the entrance of the tabernacle is also on the east side, and the Holy of Holy place is on the west side, right? So they're talking about the frame here. So how many frame is here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that right? Yes? No. So like, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? It's not right. Because how many frames supposed to be there? 6, not 9. 6 frame makes up 9 cubits long, not 9 frame. Right? Based on our calculations, 1.5 cubit, the width of frame could only fit 6. So this diagram is not accurate, right? So, how about this one? This one. So look at this. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is perfect. This is exactly what we talked about, right? So there are 6 of them, which is perfectly fit. This is the thickness of the frame is about 0.5 cubits on both ends, so that make up perfectly 10 feet. I mean, not 10 feet, to 10 cubits. Now, 2 is the questions, what we just read. Verse 23 again, make 2 frames for the corner at the far end. So, there is a 2 more frame. So they put it 2 more frame outside of this. Right? The 2 frames, far end. They make 2 frame for the corner at the far end. At these 2 corners, they must be double from the bottom all the way to the top, and fitted into a single ring. Both shall be like that. So they put 2 more frames on top of these 6. So here and here, to double it. That's what verse 23 is saying. And make 2 frames for the corner at the far end. So in addition to this 6 frame, they put 2 more at the far end, which is here and here, the far end, to double it. Do you understand? Okay. So let's compare this diagram versus the other diagram. Obviously, this is one diagram. Okay, so we have a 6 frame here, and they put the 2 frames outside, so make it double, right? So this is one diagram. I'm going to show you another diagram. Now go back to this diagram. Now, where is those 2 frame? Now inside. Now the question is that inside or outside? What makes you think it is inside? Mm-hmm. 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 So the inside is correct? Or like the one that we saw is outside is correct? This diagram shows the inside. The other diagram shows outside. Right? So should it be inside or should it be outside?
It just says two back corners.
Yeah.
I don't know if they mean like inside corner or the outside.
It has to be inside. Why inside? How do I know this has to be inside? It can't be outside. Think about what we just learned, the covering. If this is outside, right? It's going to add 0.5 cubits, which means those 20 cubits long covering will not go all the way down at the bottom then. Right? Because we added extra 0.5 cubits with this frame because they doubled it. So this cannot be outside, it has to be inside. If it is inside, then the covering go all the way down at the bottom. Does that make sense? So this diagram is not accurate, but rather this diagram is more accurate. Are you with me so far? Okay. But the question here is, they make on this side, so they 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they put 2 frames here inside. So the west end is actually, there are 8 pieces together. Right? Now continue on. Also, make crossbar of acacia wood, 5 for the frame on one side of the tabernacle, and 5 for those on the other side, and the 5 for the frame on the west side, at the far end of the tabernacle. So let's talk about this for a moment. So what they're talking about is, this is the pole. Okay? So at these 2 corners, they must, the acacia wood 5 for the frame on one side and the tabernacle, and for those on the other side. So there are 5 poles, okay? From here, as you can see here, they drawn how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this diagram is not accurate. How about this one? This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So according to this diagram, 3 of them are inside, 2 of them are outside. Right? Do you see the diagram? So is this right? This is not right. Because there is no mention of inside. This one is all outside. There's no inside. Right? And then they did 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And how many supposed to be? 5. Right? So, let's take a look at different diagram. This one doesn't show. So now you realize that all the diagram that you see is, you realize that it's not accurate to the Bible. Right? Is there more diagram? That's why I have to reference different diagram, because there's some things right, some things not right. Okay, this one. Now this one has now 3. So this is not right either. Right? So all this diagram, I don't know where they get this idea from, but they just make their own. But if you don't read it carefully, and compare it against the Bible, you're just looking at the diagram and you're just going to believe what you see, right? Because people don't really compare it against what they see versus what's in the Bible. But when you actually compare them, you realize that it's all wrong. Yeah, so there's no good diagram that I can actually show here. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have here. So go back here. So what they're saying is, this is not right. So the acacia wood is going from here all the way down, one piece, another piece, another piece, another piece. So there are 4 of them are outside, from this end all the way to the at the end. This one, it shows like from here the half and the other half here. When you look at the Bible, there's no mention of a splitting in half, right? This one goes from here all the way to the end, and there's another piece go all the way down here, another piece all the way down here, and then another piece all the way down here. So there are 4 pieces from outside. You follow me? I wish there was some diagram. I thought I had some diagram before. Here. Okay, maybe this one. You show this diagram? Is there 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. You see it? Okay, so there are 4 posts that are going across. But one, which is, go back to the verse again. Let's read it again. Verse 28. The center crossbar is to extend from end to end at the middle of the frame, which means, as you can see here, and this middle bar is going through the middle. You see this? So let me just show a different diagram here. Like this, it's going through the middle section, so it doesn't show from outside. When you see from here, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, but there's a 1 inside between each frame, so that goes right in the middle of it, so there's like a hole in it. You see what I'm talking about? Okay. So there are 5 pieces together. The poster, there are 5, but 4 of them are exposed, 1 of them are not. One of them goes inside the frame, so you can't really see. Okay? So let's go back to the verse again. Verse 29, overlay the frame with the gold and make gold ring to hold the crossbar. Also overlay the crossbar with gold. What they mean by is that, so there's the the gold ring here that you can just put it through the rings to just make it sturdy, so it doesn't really so you can put it all together tightly. You get it? It's the rings here. Okay? Now, set up the tabernacle according to the plan shown you on the mountain. Make curtain of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen, and with cherubim worked into it by the skilled craftsmen, hang it with the gold hooks on 4 posts of acacia wood overlaid with gold, and the standing on 4 silver bases. So going back here, this is talking about 4 posts, 4 posts here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the curtain is made out of white, blue, purple, and scarlet. And obviously, when you look at this diagram, this only there are white and scarlet. That's it. There's no blue. There's no purple here, right? So this diagram is also wrong. But there's a 4 post, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then remember we talked about having the ring here, the 50, right? We talked about there are 50 loop on this side and the other 50 loop here, and then those 2 loops are put together with gold, the hook, right? And then there was a bronze hook as well. So when you look at this, so there are 4 posts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and those curtains are hanging on not only those golden and bronze hook, but also against this 4 post. This is the veil that separates between the holy place and to the holy of holy. You with me so far? Okay, so continue on. Put the atonement cover on the Ark of the Testimony in the most holy place. So behind the curtain, put the Ark of Covenant. That's what they're saying. Place the table outside the curtain. On the north side, this side is the north, right? Because this is east, this is west. Obviously, this is the south, and this is the north, right? So what they're saying is, place the table outside the curtain on the north side. Outside the curtain on the north side. So this is what is this? Showbread table, right? Which we learned about. And put the lampstand opposite on the south side. So this opposite side, which is the south side, this is where the lampstand is, which is we learned about it last week. Right? For the entrance to the tent, make a curtain of blue, purple, scarlet yarn, and finely twisted linen, which is the same material, just like what we used here for the curtain between the holy and the holy of a holy place. Right? The work of the embroiderer. So this is what they're talking about, the entrance. So let's go back here. So this is talking about this side. Okay? Make gold hooks for this curtain and 5 posts of acacia wood overlaid with gold, and cast a 5 bronze base for them. So there are 5. Let's go back to the other diagram. I don't even know how many diagrams I have to use. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 posts. How many posts between the holy and the holy of a holy place? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But the entrance of the tabernacle is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's different, right? And what else is different between this curtain and this curtain? So let's go back to this diagram. Compared against the verse 31 and 36. What's the difference? Can you see anything different at all? Verse 31 through verse 31 and verse 36. What's the difference? Let's read together. Verse 31, let's read together. Make a curtain of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and finely twisted linen, with the cherubim worked into it by the skilled craftsman. That's verse 31. Let's read verse 36. For the entrance to the tent, make a curtain of blue, purple, scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen, the work of an embroiderer. What's the difference? The curtain between the holy to holy of holy place curtain uses same material, white, blue, scarlet, and purple, right? And the entrance of the holy place uses same exact material. It uses white, blue, purple, and scarlet. They use the same material. The difference between those two curtains is the curtain on the holy of holy place has the cherubim. The curtain on the entrance of the holy place does not have the cherubim. You see that? Yes? No? So difference is on this curtain there is a cherubim. This curtain does not have a cherubim. Okay? But use the same material. They use the white, blue, purple, and scarlet. They use the same color. The difference is one with the cherubim, the other one does not. That's the difference. So continue on. Verse 36, for the entrance to the tent make a curtain of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen to the work of the embroiderers. Make gold hooks for this curtain and 5 posts of acacia wood overlaid with gold and cast a 5 bronze base for them. So difference between, let's go back to a different diagram here. So difference between this post, which is the 5 of them, and the 4 of them in the back. On this post, the base is the silver, but this post is a bronze. You with me so far? So the post, or the frame that separates between holy place to the holy of holy, the base is the silver, but the entrance of this has a 5 post with the base is bronze. But remember on the side, right, this frame, each frame has how many base? 2. The 2 silver base. Remember? On this side, this post only have 1 base of each. It does not have a 2. Okay? And the entrance of the holy place, how many posts? 5. And how many posts between the holy and the holy of holy? 4. And the base is 1. Yeah. So this side, this one is the silver. And this, the base is bronze. Right? Once again, here there are 4 posts, right? And the base is silver. Is there 2 on each or the 1 on each? One on each post, right? The 4 posts, and there's only 1 base on each post. The wall has 2, but not this one. The 4 posts only has a 1. The wall has a 2, but not this one. And this entrance has a 5 post, and the base is 1, but it made out of bronze. You see now the full picture now? So when you just took out all the covering on the top, so when you actually show the bear, this is what it looks like. Except this, like, obviously this is wrong, right? But everything else pretty much the same, right? So now after we've gone through chapter 26 and explaining everything what it looks like, do you get the idea? Now, can you now visualize yourself what it looks like now? So let's go back to the this one. So pretty much this, but as you can see here, obviously this is, not everything is wrong, but there are parts that are wrong, right? But just by looking at the picture, you'll be able to tell what's wrong and what's right based on the scripture. Whew. All right. Now we understand what chapter 26 looks like, at least now, able to visualize ourselves what it is. We spent like almost 2 hours just explaining what this looks like now. So when you read it again, then it's going to make sense. Now you can understand what you're reading now. Right? Now we need to talk about the spiritual meaning of this tabernacle, but looked like already I wasted all my time explaining about this, just the appearance or the architecture of this tabernacle, it seems. Let me just try to... No, it's not a wasted time. Like, I waste too much time is what I meant to say. Like, I should have shortened it a little. But anyway, let me just explain a few things here. Now, who designed this? Who architected this? God did, right? It's not Moses' design. Moses did not come up with this design. God is the one who's showing Moses, this is how you should build a tabernacle. Then let's think about it. If God designed this one, do you think that God designed this because he felt like it, or he just designed it because this one looks better, or is he trying to teach us something? Or obviously he's trying to teach us something through this tabernacle. But then we need to understand, what is he trying to tell us? What is he trying to show us? What does this mean to us? I understand the architecture. I could understand how it's structured, but what does it mean? Why did God design the way it is designed? Right? So let's start from the beginning again. Now, God told Moses to use 4 different color. Right? So what color is it again? So let's just go over one at a time. White and purple, blue, scarlet. Now, let's think about, why did God pick this color? Why not pink? Why not red? Why not black? Scarlet resembles blood. That's correct. Right? So scarlet it's a blood color. Right? Okay, which is one, we got it. White. Well, close. So white represent righteousness. Right? White represent righteousness. What about blue? So the blue, when you look at the blue, and it's a sky. Right? The sky is a blue. This is what we see. Although it is not really blue, but we see it as blue. Right? So it's heavenly color. Then one is now purple. What is a purple? Loyalty. Royalty. That's correct. Royalty. Think about it. From now, in today's day, we can make any color, the blue, green, red, or, we can make up any color we want. But you have to think about it from the ancient time. No one could really have really purple color. It is extremely difficult and expensive to make purple material. So who wears those purple clothes? Like king. Like very royal people only wore those purple color clothes. So the purple means, like you pointed out, it's a royal. It's only king wears those color. So once again, white represent righteousness, blue represent the heaven and sky, and third, purple, a royalty, and fourth, scarlet is blood. That's what God is trying to use. So let's just think about those four things, okay? Let's talk about righteous, sky and heaven, and royal, and blood. What does it actually remind you of? Yeah, so if you put all that together, which is what you just said, if you can put all together, if you put all those things that you just described, all put into one basket, what does it really tell you? Exactly. That's Jesus. Yeah. Right. That color represent Jesus, the color of Jesus. Okay? So that's what it's being used. And then he actually asking to put together 5 pieces to cover the holy place, the other 5 pieces to cover the holy of holy place. Right? We just remember we talked about 4 cubits long, then you put 5 pieces together on one side, which makes up the 20 cubit long, and then you do the same thing on the other side, right? 4 cubits wide, and then you put 5 pieces together, make up the 20 cubits long, so that covers the holy of holy place, right? Now, why did God make those 5 pieces? Now, let's talk about what does a 5 means? 5. No. 5 means grace. Right? 5 means grace. So, God intentionally made those 5 pieces to cover the holy place. He could have told Moses just one big piece, right? Why do you separate those 5 pieces here on this end, another 5 pieces on the other end, right? No reason for that. It's better to make one big piece. But God is telling, no, make 5 pieces on this side, make 5 pieces on the other side. So that 5 piece represent grace. Now 5 and 5, put it together. So the holy place and holy of holy place is full of grace. The entire place is covered with grace. Right? Now, he's putting these 2 together. So one piece covers the holy place and the other side is the holy of holy place. They're putting it together, 2 pieces together, and then put a loop. There are 50 loops. Once again, 50 loops? Why 50 loops? Right? He intentionally make 50 loops. So then he's trying to tell us something. Why 50 loops? Five times 10. So then 5 times 10. Okay, 5 times 10. So what does that have to do with it? Yeah. 5. So can you think of like anything with like 50 and or the 5 or you know 10 commandments, okay. Okay. Well, we didn't actually cover number 10 yet. We haven't. Actually, we did. We did cover it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We talked about this, but I don't think you guys would remember this. No, I did give. So, no, number 10 does not represent God. So, when I gave this, we talked about number 10 when we talking about Moses. Yeah. Yeah. Most likely you guys don't remember this because I talked about this. Because remember how long Moses actually spent in the Egypt? How long did he live in the Egypt? When did he actually flee to? After he killed the Egyptians and he flee to the whatchamacallit, Midian, yeah. What age did he actually, flee to Midian? Yeah, he was 40. He was a 40 when he flee to Midian. So then, how long did he actually stay in Midian before God calls him? 10 years? It was more than that? And how long? 15 years? I don't know. We learned. Yeah, you know what? It's not about learning thing. I think it must be a teacher not teaching it right. So if you have a good teacher, you will remember. If you learn from a good teacher, you will remember things. But when you actually learn from a really bad teacher, at the end of the whole semester, like you don't remember anything what you learned from that teacher. It must be a yeah, 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 yeah. Doesn't register, right? Yeah. At the time when you learn a lot of things, you probably just like, wow, that's great. And then, a few weeks later, you probably don't, remember exactly what you learned. Which is, yeah. Well, that's why a lot of the pastors say, like, this is good because you don't remember, so I can repeat the same thing over and over again, and no one remembers, right? And then they could just do the same preaching, every once in a while, and then nobody remembers as, oh, this is new teaching. Yeah. So So he spent his time in Midian for 40 years. Remember I talked about, when Moses was raised in the palace as a prince of Egypt, right? He had everything, right? He was young and he had a fame. He was wealthy, he was educated, or he was living in well life. So 40 years, he was living like a prince for 40 years, right? That's when he thought, oh, God is going to use me, right? I have everything. Now I can actually do some God's work. That's why God actually stood me here to do something, right? But did God use him when he thought he was ready? No. Why? Why God could not use him because he think he can do something, right? Because he thought that he possessed, things that he can do to God's work. But when you think you have something that you can do something, God cannot use you. So God threw him to the Midian, and he was living as shepherd, right? Now, when he was living in a desert for 40 years, what happened to Moses? What happened to Moses? Well, the thing is, now he doesn't have anything anymore, right? He's no longer a prince. He doesn't have any fame anymore. He's not young anymore, right? He doesn't have a strength, or he doesn't have any money. He's got nothing. So when God calls him out when he was 80 years old, how did Moses change from when he was in Egypt? I can't do anything. I'm old. I don't have anything. Why are you calling me? When he was 40, he thought, I can do everything. I'm the guy who can deliver my people. That's what he think. But God could not use him because he thought he could do anything. But when he threw him to the Midian, he realized that I can't do anything. I got nothing. I can't do anything, Lord. So when he realized that he's got nothing, that's when God calls him. Moses, now you're ready to do my work. Because you claim yourself that you got nothing and you're helpless, you can't do anything. That's why you need me now. Right? That's why those 40 numbers are repeating. How many years that the Israelites spent in the desert? 40 years. That's why those 40 numbers are keep repeating. So then the question is, okay, wait a second. We're talking about 10. Where did the 40 come from? Well, obviously, there's a 4 times 10. So there's a 10 also associated with those 40. 50 is associated with a 5 times 10. So there's a 10 he's repeating. What does this 10 mean? Those 10 means is a hardship in this world. 10 represent the hardship in this world. So 50, okay, 50. Alright, so what does that 50 have to do with anything? Now that's the questions we need to solve. 50. Can we think of any examples that we know? I'll give you some hint. It's in the New Testament. This is one of the parable that Jesus gave. Not exactly 50, but it's something to do with. I'll give you a little more hint. Jesus mentioned to the guy named Simon. Yeah, not 10. It's related to number 5. Number 5. It's kind of hard, isn't it?
I'm sure this story is going to be one of those stories Jesus
That, well, absolutely, you know this, absolutely. You know, most of the stuff that I actually talk about, you guys both know very well. You know, maybe there are 1 or 2 cases that oh, I didn't know about that story, but most of the story that I tell you. Look where. Okay, so let's take a look at what's. Oops. Okay. Let's take a look at it. Let's see. just look it up. On the way, they spoke against God and against Moses, and they said, "Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the desert? There is no bread, there is no water, and we detest this miserable food." Then the Lord sent venomous snakes among them. They bit the people, and many Israelites died. The people came to Moses and said, "We sinned when we spoke against the Lord and against you. Pray that the Lord will take the snake away from us." So Moses prayed for the people. The Lord said to Moses, "Make a snake and put it up on a pole. Anyone who is bitten can look at it and live." So Moses made a bronze snake and put it up on the pole. Then when anyone was bitten by the snake and looked at the bronze snake, he lived. What does that mean? Why did God tell Moses to make bronze snake? Why not like bronze, maybe, like lamb? Why God is, why God told Moses to create like bronze a snake? Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Well, a lot of things we're talking about, you guys already know. It's just, and we gone over. So what did Jesus say about this? Yeah. Let's turn to John chapter 3. John chapter 3, verse 13 through 15. "No one has ever gone into heaven except the one who came from heaven, the Son of Man. Just as Moses lifted up the snake in the desert, so the Son of Man must be lifted up, that everyone who believes in him may have eternal life." So Jesus is bringing up this story of Moses, which he made a bronze snake, right? So what is he saying? Verse 14 says, "Just as Moses lifted up the snake in the desert," which is what he's referring to as this bronze snake that we're just talking about, right? So what does he mean? As Moses lifted up the snake in the desert, so the Son of Man must be lifted up. So who will be lifted up? So let's turn to John chapter 12 this time. Chapter 12, 32 and on. "But when I am lifted up from the earth, will draw all men to myself." He said this is to show the kind of death he was going to die. So when he said lifted up, what does he mean by that? That he will take up the cross and he will be crucified on the cross, right? But why snake? Snake is the one that must be punished from Genesis, remember? So the snake is the one who must be punished. So Jesus will be punished like snake on the cross. Bronze represent punishment. Gold and bronze. Gold, Jesus is God. will be punished like a sinner, bronze. Okay? And it's hanging on. So the very first covering is made out of 4 different colors: white, blue, purple, scarlet, which represent Jesus, with the golden hook, which represent Jesus. But the second covering is what? Second covering was what? Goat's hair. Right? Goat's hair. Goat's hair, is that strong or like it's weak? Is it a strong material? No, it's not strong material. But it hangs on bronze. Jesus Christ, when he died, he just died like he was nobody. And then he received a punishment. 50. And I think I found that verse that I was looking for. Let's take a look at Luke chapter 7. Luke chapter 7. We're going to read from verse 40. Jesus answered him, "Simon, I have something to tell you." "Tell me, teacher," he said. 2 men owed money to a certain moneylender. One owed him 500 denarii, and the other 50. Neither of them had the money to pay him back, so he canceled the debt of both. Now, which of them will love him more? Simon replied, "I suppose the one who had a bigger debt canceled." "You have judged correctly," Jesus said. So there are 2 people. One of them, how much debt? 500 denarii. And the other, 50. Both of them, their debt has been canceled. Which of them have received God's grace? Well, more. But why is he picking 550? When did Holy Spirit came down on earth? When did Holy Spirit come to us? On what day? Pentecost. What does a penta means? Penta is 5. Pentecost is the 50 days from the first gathering. 50. That's where the Pentecost coming from. Why 50? 50 is grace in this world, and we received the Holy Spirit, and our debt has been canceled. That's why there's a 50 loops there, and one with the gold, one with bronze. I need to explain a lot more than this one, but I ran out of time now. So I'll continue to explain more spiritual meaning of this tabernacle next week. Okay, so I didn't finish all this, but hopefully we'll continue on. I'll re-explain this next week about the spiritual meaning.